I hope you are able to see the screen. Okay, so in the last session, I think till location profiles we covered. Any queries before I proceed further?
No,
Okay, so the next thing is location directive and the work template. So location directive, it's a rule engine where we define from where the item has to be picked and the item has to be placed for the sale. And work template represent what are the actions that should be taken care by the worker. Based on these informations, a work will be created. Let me go into the application. Warehouse management setup. Let me take work template first. So this is the work template form, and you'll see an option here to choose the transaction type. So currently we are looking into the purchase orders. So just select purchase order. So here if you see, we have a pick and put work assigned to it. And the other important thing is work class. So these are the two things that we should look into. So this work class will be tagged in multiple places. Okay. So one is to the location type. You can define that these are the location types. It's running that should be linked to this particular work class. So when the system tries to identify the location, it considers this as well in addition to your location tag. Okay, and the same work class will be used in mobile app menu as well. This I'll come later, but I'll just cover when we are seeing the transaction, when we are seeing the actual demo for the book. Let me create a new one. And the other thing is you'll see a sequence here. Okay, and the system always executes from zeros. It starts from zero. Okay, so it works in the ascending order. In case if you have a same work template, like if you have more than one work template for a warehouse, you just need to arrange it, and whatever satisfies first, that will be executed. That will be considered as a valid one, and it will be executed. For a demo, I'll just create Vivo, and we have pool ID concept where you can use this pool ID. Based on this, we can filter in multiple places, like how we have the sale order pool ID. So we can use that for that purpose, and we have priority assignment as well. Okay, whatever you define here, based on the work will be created, and the same information like pool ID and the priority you will be seeing over there. So we have created the header and then the line. So first it will be a pick and use mandatory, and then so you can give print as well, or you can give put. But minimum there should be one pick and one put for a purchase or sales transaction. In case if you give a print, once it is picked, the system will generate the labels based on the configuration. Okay. So in this demo, we can't show the print option because we should have document routing agent configured, and we need Azure, this one, ID, tenant ID, all these. But since I'm working on that trial, we can't do that. But I'll just configure and I'll show how the configuration should be. You can test in an environment where you have all this, and then a put book. Okay, so this is a minimum setup, and now if you see, this particular will be applicable for all the warehouses because nowhere we define that for which warehouse they should be used. So what we should be doing is we should be using the edit query option, and here we define the warehouse. We are trying warehouse statistics is the first scenario. So this is done. And next I go to, okay, any questions before I proceed further? Guys, please do respond because sometimes I don't know whether there is an issue with
No, no,
some mic.
no.
Okay. Okay.
One doubt here in the work template, we have given
Mm,
pick, put, and print, right? So
right.
this print will be used for especially
Printing
for
as well.
inbound. No, will
No,
this be only for?
it will be, no, it can be used for inbound or outbound operations as well. Like wherever you need to generate a label, we will be using over there.
Okay, by default it will pick whether it is inbound or out.
Mm,
Okay,
right. And this printing action will be taken care once the pick option is pick process is completed. Okay. And this is one place where you can define that you need to generate a label. And there is another place which I'll be showing after this. Then it's location directive. Okay. Similar to work template, we have multiple options to select. So just create, let the sequence be 56. Okay. And here we define the work type. Okay. So here for purchase, we no need to define a pick location. The reason is, as I showed in the warehouse creation form, remember there was a default receipt location. Warehouse master 66. Okay, so this is the location the system always will pick an item for the inbound operation. Okay, not for the outbound or for the purchase or the transfer receipt. Because once we receive the stock, we will always keep assume that we always keep the item in this location and then only it will be moved to the actual location where it has to be placed. And since we didn't configure this, I'll configure this now. So this is my default receipt location. And that's the reason we don't want to define a pick because always it's gonna pick from that particular location. We just need to define the put location. And then we add a sequence like from how many quantities to how many quantities and what unit of measurement. Okay, so if you want that only if I receive 5 to 10 quantities it should be kept in a different place. We can create another line. If more than 5, I want the item to be in some other place or based on the unit of measurement you wanted to differentiate, you can still differentiate from this. And then here we define the location. Let's say first I wanted to put, I always wanted to put in a bulk location. I put text here bulk, and then I go to edit query. So here location is 6. Location is not required. Only we'll go with location. See, you can define anything, either a location or a location profile, and system will. If you define a location profile, it will take the first one from that profile. If we have more than one location, let's say we queue for bad. I'll just confirm that. It is just a bulk profile. So I've defined bulk. Now this is done. So this is for Windows 66. It's not for all Windows. It's just for the purchases. Okay, so if you wanted to test, you can use this acceptance test. So you can try a simulation. For purchase order and it's for put and uh, do you remember the item? start the one, and here we can define that quantity, and it is features, and I'll be receiving this particular. So define the location as but it is failed. Why it is okay. So if we like this is a simulation where it gives what is the issue that we will be facing if we try to receive the item. It says that there is no conversion between each and boxes at the item level. Okay, earlier this feature was not there, but later they introduced this feature to simulate and see what is the expected output when we are going with this particular configuration. Over release products. Box will have 10 each. Let's say. Here let's stop and while I'll do this in standard better. Box okay. And one license plate will have then test is failed because the expected bug is different than the resulting profile. The location 6200 failed. Item allocation failed for this. So let me give this from quantity 1 to okay, now this is passed. And when we receive 10 quantity, this particular location will be used. Okay, so this is the expected outcome. Any questions before I proceed further?
Means we can run in number of times
Uh,
until this got passed, right? We need to
right.
make the
Uh,
so there is no validation like that. No,
no,
one
this
time
is
it will
just
fail.
for no. You can run multiple times and you can define multiple parameters and run. So that the reason why we have this is, I'll say that before this feature, I think this feature came before 6 months earlier. How we used to know that there is an issue in the configuration is only by making some transactions and see how the works are getting created. So it took most of the time. Like you need to create a purchase order, you need to receive all those stuffs were there. But once this feature came, it was easy for us to stimulate and see whether the configuration what we did makes sense or not.
Okay, means it is a ready template to check all the setups.
Not kind of a ready template, it's kind of a validation of a template what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
validation. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so this is the like now we understood right what we are doing in a location directive. We just define where the item has to be placed. Okay, and there are other parameters which I'll talk later. But to be on the basic side, this is the basic thing what we will be doing. If you see any of the purchase related, if it sales, there will be two options. One is for pick and another is for food. Now this is done, right? Then the next thing is mobile web.
Ashok, I have a question here. There is a applicable disposition code is right. Where we will use that?
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
This it's for written process mostly.
How it will work for that reference thing?
See, for the
Not the
written
disposition
process.
code.
uh,
Yeah, applicable disposition code which
hmm,
we using for receiving location as well.
no, not for receiving location. Like after move, like see, the for receiving process, this doesn't work. There is no work template or location directive for a receiving. I mean, till
Yeah,
you
for
receive to a
whatever
default
location.
location.
Hmm.
Once it has been moved to a actual location, that's where the location directive plays a role.
Okay.
Okay, so this is mostly used for identifying, like if I wanted to work only with the uh, like available item, like there is no issues in the item, right? I said no inventory status. There will be another storage dimension which represents the availability of particular quantity of stock. If something is damaged, we tag as blocking, or if it's a return process, we say RMA credit. So
Correct.
based on this should work. Like because within return process itself, you may have credit only or stock return or scrap. There are multiple options, right?
Hmm.
So how we will be differentiating, like where we wanted to put, like if it's just credit only, that let's say there won't be any stock that will be managed, and if it has to be scrapped, let's say I wanted to put in a different location. If it has to be uh, replaced, I should keep in a different location, or if it's a unused or broken, let's say I want to give a different location. So how this will be managed is through this disposition.
So
And
if
here
I
we
select
say,
the disposition code as uh, anything other than the available,
hmm,
will that will show as a available inventory in the system, or it's only just block that inventory for not allocating or reserving that quantity to any other order?
no, no, see, this doesn't serve that purpose. It is for the put actions. Okay,
Mhm.
let's say you received an item, okay, and this should be scrapped. If I used this one and exact match as RMA scrap, if there is a return order with a disposition code of RMA scrap, then this particular location directive will be used. And if
Okay.
it's replaceable, I'll create another location directive, and there I'll define this disposition code. I mean, I'll create a new disposition code and I define. So based on the header setup, this particular location directive will be made available for the particular transaction.
Okay. And in the location directive actions first tab, we have a strategy column, right? There,
Uh, this one.
yeah, the last,
Okay, there are
uh,
different things. This
yeah,
one, right? You are saying
yes, yes.
match packing, consolidate, before based reservations. Each serves a different purpose, which I'll talk later. But I'll just show the simplest to process first, and then I'll come into this form and I'll explain the
But you will
scenarios
cover
where,
in the further sessions about this,
right,
right?
I'll cover.
Okay, thank you.
Right. There will should be any disposition code. I define this, and next is the mobile. Here we say new item received, and here we will have two methods. One is book and indirect. Indirect means the adjustment, or like if you don't deal with any work, change of warehouse. There are many things which comes under indirect. Now we'll go with work as per the process. And here, like if we are dealing with existing work, like if work has been created already and you wanted to work on that, like you want to process that work, then we will be using this. Else, if a new work should be created, this should be disabled. Now here you will see all the transaction types. So now within purchase order, I'll show. license plate receiving, it's part of purchase. License plate receive and put away. Purchase order line receiving. Purchase order line receiving and put away. Purchase order item received. Purchase order item receiving and put away. And there'll be one another mixed license plate receiving, mixed license plate receiving and put away. So there are almost 8 transaction types that will be used for inbound. And if you see, this and this is almost similar. The license plate receiving and this is license plate receiving and put away. So when you see the term put away, it means that placing the item in the location. So the difference between these two are, like, if we are using this one, I mean the system just like if you're using any purchase related thing, it's just receiving. Okay, it means that, let's say in your worker you have a worker who just receives and keep the item in the default location, and there could be a warehouse where the worker who receives itself, he directly goes and put in a actual location. So both the scenarios are possible. When you are dealing with this, there should be there should be two workers, one who receives the items and put in a default location, or the same worker later he will move the item, or else he can assign that work to some other guy to pick and put in a actual location. Getting the difference of receiving and receiving put away.
Yeah.
So if I select
So
license plate receiving and put away, so in the system it will be created 2 work IDs or only 1 work ID?
It depends on the stock and the unit sequence group, many things, but the key difference between those two was, see, we receive an item. Okay.
Yeah.
Worker 1, he just received.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And there will be worker 2. There can be a number of works.
Yes.
We are not talking about the number of works. We are speaking about the number of persons. So he will move to actual location based on the work created. Or there can be 2 or 3 workers that can be split across them, and then it can be kept in the actual location. But when we use receive and put away, this guy he receives and this guy he put away. Sorry, I got confused. When we use receive, this guy will receive and a work will be created after that, and then this guy will. Okay, but if you use receive and put away, both will be done by one guy. As the name says, he receives and he put away. And okay, this is the difference. Here we are not concerned about the number of folks. Let's ignore the number of folks here.
Yeah.
I think there was another question. I'll proceed then. It's nothing. Okay, now we have selected this and use default data. So this option is used like every time I don't wanted to key in few information, like it should come by default. In that case, you can define the value over here, maybe a disposition code, or let's say I create a different menu for different types of receiving. I wanted the disposition code to be defaulted automatically. I don't want it to key in every time. In that case, you can define this for which warehouse, and you can enter the value here, so that will be defaulted always. And process guide, it's not for this. There's a different purpose. I'll say when we are speaking about maybe movements. Okay, and barcode policy, it's a new functionality what we have. So earlier we were not having a functionality of scanning a single barcode and updating all those details. Like I'm not sure. We came across this one, like a barcode will be having a purchase order number, item, quantity, unit of measurement, and if there is a batch, it will have the batch details as well. A single barcode. Because have you seen that?
no,
Yes,
I
yes.
haven't.
Okay.
I'm sure that
So, okay.
like
So,
we had the complete details of some barcode, like including the vendor ID, purchase order ID, item ID, and batch
right,
combination.
right. So when, like, if we wanted to deal with such kind of barcodes, we will be defining this barcode data policy. In data policy, we define how the segmentation works. Okay, here we define the first 5 characters represent the purchase order number, let's say, and next to the item code. Like that, we define the policy, and that will be tagged. That will be useful at the time of receiving. Okay, and
Will that be printed in the label also, in the palette
see,
label?
this is not for printing at the label. This is for receiving. Like you'll be scanning the barcode, right, at the time of
Yes, yes.
receiving.
Hmm.
Okay, see, how it works is here, when we don't enable this feature, you need to enter the purchase order manually, item code, or you need to enter, or you need to scan individual values. Okay, but there is a functionality where all the values will be accumulated in one particular barcode. On scanning that, all the values will be looked at.
Okay.
So that will reduce the effort of worker, right? For that purpose, we'll be using this. And we have license plate grouping concept, which I'll explain later. And do you want to generate the license plate at this stage? At the time of receiving, there should be S. And we have created a work template, right? If you want to tag a particular work template with a particular menu item. Okay. So if you don't define, based on the sequence the system executes and whatever it's valid, it picks up that. If you define something here, it will just execute that particular work template, and it generates a work. Okay. And the other option you should consider is display labels. In the work template, we have seen a work type, right, as a print. So that and this particular option serve the same purpose. Like there will be scenarios where you don't want to give us the work template, and it should be only at the menu items. Like for one certain menu item, you wanted to generate a label, and for other you don't want it to. So in that case, you can delete over there, and you can enable here, and this will actually generate the label that will be printed and sticked on the license plate or at the item level. Okay. So now this is the basic setup. So what I'll do, I'll just go to mobile device. Training. Okay, I created a main menu and then a sub menu I'll create. Okay, now within the inbound, I'll define which menu I need to be placed. PO item is it. I just need to select here. And this is my menu item, and this is the parent menu. And again, I come to training, I select the. So within training, we have inbound, and within inbound, we have the purchases. So now the mobile menu items has been created. Then should go to the worker. So here for one worker, I mean, this is the standard worker from Dynamics. For one worker, you can create a number of users, and based on the same worker, like you can create a dependent worker for WMS, or for each individual worker, you can create a separate master. And this worker will be linked to all these user menus. Okay, so now I'll put the same option of creating.
Is this worker is different from the employee? What
No,
we have by default in the system?
as I said, this Julia is the standard worker what we have, and this is a subsegment of that. See, there can be a probability whether one worker will be there, and within the worker itself, they will create a number of user ID, and all the data flows through that particular worker. Or you can create separate workers for each and individual handle device users. I say instead of worker, and say handle device user, and this is actual work
Okay.
in employee master. And then we define the password. And we need to define the default warehouse, then the mobile main. In case if more than one warehouse, we can add it here. Now all these setups are done. I'll go to the handle device. In the user ID, password. Okay, we just have one operation. Okay, so the default, the location comes by default. This is nothing but our in default received location, which we defined in the warehouse master. And then it asks for a purchase order number, quantity, unit of measurement. So physically what we do is we scan, like once we receive the item, we will be having a barcode on the item, or if we receive a packing slip from our vendor, it may have a barcode with a purchase order number, right? Or if it's not there, then also it's fine. We have an option to key in manually. I'll show in the emulator. The problem is I can't configure over here, but I'll show in the demo if I have something. We have purchase receipt. So you can enter, or you can scan based on the configuration. And then we will click on this OK button, and then item scanning will be there, and then the quantity. This is how it looks. You can define and you can select the quantity and you can receive. So once the work is completed, it will give a message stating work has been completed. So this is just a demo data, so it doesn't validate anything. But this is how it will be. The same thing we'll be doing over here, but the UI will be different. Now I'll go to the disorder list. We'll be using this particular PO. And then it asks for an item. The item cannot be received. Please go back to this. Okay, it's in warehouse, not this particular PO. Yes, I didn't create a PO for that item. Let me create one. 66. I receive 5 pages. And then I'll confirm the PO. I'll leave this. So the moment you enter the item number, it gives you the line, and how much I'm gonna receive is 5 quantity, 5 each, and you can see the conversion as well. Okay, and this is the confirmation. Okay, now the item has been received. It says that the work has been created. If you go to warehouse management, works, inbound, open purchase work. This is the work it created. So we have a pick and put, pick from this location and put in this location, the quantity, everything. Okay. Now I just open
Ashok,
this.
I have one question here. Sorry to interrupt you. So sometimes this location is blocked with the user ID.
Blocked means like, are you getting any message?
Yeah, maybe if the session is wrongly closed by the user, sometimes the user session will be locked, right? When they are using
Okay.
the RF. So that time it
So
will show the location under this location column. It will show the user ID. So how to
it is something as here you have no. See, if it is based on the worker, just click on change user, clear the value, so it will be unblocked. But the problem over there is, see, if a pick work has been completed, okay, and somewhere the worker has to give the item, right?
Yes.
He can't have within him. And as I said earlier, within the warehouse, you will see one more location in addition to the locations what we have created. That I'll go to the location. If you see, we never created a location called 66, but the system had created a 66. This is nothing but the worker. And if you see the location profile, it is user. So for every user, system will create a work, and once you pick, the stock will be in this particular location. So physically assume that he picked from the receiving location and is in transit to put in a actual location. Right. So how you physically handle this situation? You either ask him to put it somewhere, right? So the user has to close it, or else on behalf of him, someone should complete the work. Right? We can't cancel or we can't unlock it. That's a process. Or if the work itself got blocked off due to some reason, if it gets blocked, you can go here, change the user. But I don't think so. If it is picked, it will go. Mostly, it won't give error over there. Okay, and if it's blocked, you can just unblock. Going back, just add another item, the same hero, the line. So now I'll allocate one more menu item. Let's see then. Okay. Your work. We don't need a line system. So this line and away. Select license plate. I need to add to the menu. We have another now. The same thing I'll do again. Here, okay, I selected line number. I think earlier I selected item. So this was purchase order, line receiving and put away. And, I think it is item based put away. Item received. See, this is purchase order, item receiving. The difference is when we use this, we scan the item. Whereas here, the new menu, it is asking for the line number. Okay, that's the difference between these two menu items. Let's give line 2 and the item number updated automatically. We are receiving 7 eaches. So now we have received. See, on receiving, immediately it shows me the next action to put in this location. Okay. So this is the difference between receive and receive button. Whereas the previous menu item, the work has been created. That's it. We never assigned anything, or we didn't do anything, right? Still there. In process purchase. See the first action. This is the work created for the new one. Item with 7 quantity and the header change user is not there because this is still in process. It didn't put. If you see the on end, the stock will be in the user location. See, this particular location is 7 quantity. So that's just for tracking so that you will know where the stock lies exactly, whether it's in transit or it's in the actual location. And then now I move the stock and I click on OK. So now the work is completed. Go here. Let's make this with that option. I can see and this is the license plate that the system has generated. In case if you wanted to generate a license plate, just disable the menu option over there, and after updating everything, the system will ask for the license plate. now will process the work which has been created. So I'll go to, okay, now still this work left, but if we go to the mobile menu, we just have options to receive. Either this asks for a purchase order number and this also asks for a purchase order. It's a fresh receiving. To process the existing work, we need to create a new menu. So, mobile menu, known as Vivo Away. So here I need to use existing work. And then see the work class which I said in the work template. Now let's say this particular menu, I just wanted to deal only with the purchase related works. Well, if you see, there is no other place where we can define whether this menu is applicable for purchase, transfer, or sales. It could be of anything. If I wanted to restrict that, this is just for a purchase, I need to define the class. It serves the additional purpose as well. Let's say in sales process or a purchase process, you have two different mobile menu. There could be scenarios where you will see, but for one, like how you will differentiate for this kind of work, a particular menu to be used, and for other set of work a different menu has to be used. It's through the work class. So within purchase itself, you can create more than one class, and you should define that in the work template. So based on the work template and this setup, the system will allow you to process the work over here. So the same work class you will be seeing in the work as well. See, so this is the usage of work class ID. Now I've configured. I'll come to this later. This is the basic setup. Now I will add to that. What will make? So we put away. So here it asks for work ID or a license plate. Okay. So how you will know that license plate? This is nothing but the same target. So one work will have one target license plate. So based on this, the system can identify, okay, this is the action that I should perform. Now say there are other options where instead of the system asking that, you wanted to see all the works that are pending in the purchase process. What you can do is you just go to the mobile menu item, away. Here there is an option called directed. So you can define system directed one. So the system will show you the works that are pending. See, earlier it has asked for the work ID or the license plate. Now it shows that this is the work that is left over. Like if you wanted to process this, you can click OK and you can process. In case you want to skip, you can skip this one. And if there are some other work, the system will just show you the next work. And currently we have only one, so that's the reason it doesn't show. So any questions so far?
No, sir.
No.
Okay, so what I wanted to show. So you can group based on something, like you can define a value. So based on this, maybe a purchase order, like for one purchase order, there are a number of works that got created. And if you wanted to group based on that, you can define the reference ID or something. So based on order number, based on that, the user can pick all together and he can put all together. Like there can be, let's say there are 10 works for the same purchase order or of the same item, it's not possible, but for same sales or shipment ID or purchase order, you don't want it to pick one by one. You can pick all together and you can put in a location. So for that, we will be using the looking. I'll just the system director. Now, the other thing is how to assign a work. Now, okay. Now let's say I want to assign this to a different worker. How I'll be assigning is by clicking on change user. Then we will be selecting the worker. Let's say I assign this to worker 60. Now if I go to the menu, ideally it shouldn't show. Let me catalog option. I'll just add logout. See, in case if I want to refresh. That will change Feroz is required and logout is required. Okay, still it shows. Maybe I'll just check the parameter. Here you can define the query. Highly a work that has been assigned should not show over there. Okay, I'll check this and I'll let you know later. And there is other option where you can see the list of works that is open this work list menu. If you use this particular menu, it shows all the work. I'll just add the class ID here. And here I've assigned manually assigned user as yes. So only that has been assigned, that will be showing. This menu by default it takes care to which user it has been assigned. Only for that user the menu like the work will be shown. Here,
If all works has to be displayed in that menu.
you need to add all the work classes or just remove all the work classes. That should be it. If work class is empty, it will show.
Okay.
Work under bound list. So currently it doesn't show anything. Any idea why it does not show? Okay, because I've assigned that particular work to worker 61, but we are using 66. We'll change to 66. Opens. Share. I'm in a wrong. So it's in under process. Okay. Where it is 66 and 192. What would
But these work IDs depend for these works, right? And maybe that is the reason it is not showing.
sorry, I didn't get that.
The work class is defined for these works, right? Maybe that is the reason it is not showing all the works.
Okay, did I select something other than purchase?
Just
This is work list. Work list. This is purchase. The work class looks correct. This is the purchase.
and the mode and user use existing work.
Wait, no, that is not required. This is just a report, right? So we are not processing any work here. So there should be no and it's intact. This is fine. Anything else?
Anything from edit query which we need to pass back.
I have just cleared. Let me try one more time. Okay. Did I log in 61 or 64?
66 you log.
66. Okay, I'll create a new window. That and
Display open work.
will it let this be blank for now.
Check the warehouse. Which warehouse we are.
Warehouse is no, warehouse looks fine. Be some silly mistake. There are class. Okay, wait. I'll process another line. See,
Go to open work list.
so I'm receiving a new purchase order.
Okay.
Process. Open is not required. Playlist also not required. New essence. Okay. Okay. Now I think I found the issue. This is the issue. So whenever we are using display open work item, we need to have one menu which has mode work, use existing work, and this one should be directed by user directed. I think even if it none also it should go.
Then earlier we have given system directed, right?
Right, right. That's the reason it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work is on click of this, that particular work will be carried out. Okay. So when the system tries to process like me open the form with the data, it says whether there is a menu exists with user option, because earlier we defined the system option, right? System will be showing. So it has to pass some parameters, all those. So whenever we are dealing with display work items, we need to have at least one menu, okay, with I mean this one directed by none or user. You can add another menu if you want the system generator like the earlier one. Like you can create another and you can add to your menu item, but make sure that you have at least one for each transaction type. Clear?
This setup is for mobile devices, right? So
Right.
can this same functionality can be achieved from the normal PC or normal computer?
See, you can use this app in a PC and you can process
So what is the
same app
benefit?
only.
What is the benefit of means receiving a PO through this process instead of a normal purchase order? What we have generally in the SCM, not in the advanced warehouse.
See, here you generate a license plate and you will have an handle device. You just scan and do. Whereas in the normal process, you should be keying in all the information like location, everything. Here, the system finds the location and it suggests you the location where the item has to be kept. Whereas in the standard receiving, I mean the non-warehouse receiving, you need to know in which location it has to be placed, right? So you physically you don't know whether that location has a stock or it's full or it's empty. Whereas using this process, the system suggests you based on all those criteria. And you don't have an option to generate a license plate there, or sorry, label there. Here you have an option to generate a label, and it's for a paperless receiving process.
Okay, and these devices need to be connected to the network, right? Company network.
Right, of course. See,
And,
no, why
and
company network? you guys are using on-prem Dynamics or like okay.
Yeah, on-prem.
Uh,
For example, on-prem, yes.
okay, if we are using on-prem, then you need to have this connected to your network, and that works. I never had experience in on-prem. Mostly it was cloud.
Okay. And the length of the barcode is restricted to some characters, right? Like 13 or 12. So how can it occupy the PR number or sorry, purchase order number or the item code and all other details?
Okay, so which barcode you are speaking, or the barcode which you will be receiving from your vendor, or the barcode
Yes,
what you're going to generate for internal purpose?
for internal purpose.
Okay, if it's an internal purpose, we have a place where you can define the label. It can be of anything. It's up to you how you want it to define. There is no restriction over there. If I go to document editing, okay, so here you can define the ZPL code, and these are the dynamic values. Okay, where it will be passed from the system to the label.
So can it consist of this QR code?
QR code also supports that. But QR code supports for we can only generate a QR code, but we can't scan a QR code. I think it's in a pipeline. In the future we can, but you can generate QR code, you can generate barcode as well.
Okay.
So maybe later I'll share any recording or video, something that's available, because in this machine I can generate, but maybe you can use. Okay, so this is the website what we use to learn ZPL programming. Okay, and we have some online things. Even in docs also you will find something like this. So here, if you see this place, okay, this represents the company name. What you see here, Intershipping Company. In case if you want to change the name, you'll be giving some ABCD. You can define the dimensions, everything. Okay, now it is changed to ABC. What we will be doing is we'll just copy this. Let's say here, okay, like here I need my company name, and somewhere if you need the item code or something, let's use the same place. Instead of this ABC, let's say I want my item code. You can scroll over here, you will find item number and insert text. Okay, this and over here. So when the system generates a label, whatever you see with this dollar sign, it's a dynamic value that comes from Dynamics, and this place will be filled with the item code based on the work.
Okay.
So similarly, we can also add the license plate ID on this.
Right, you do have a license plate here. These are the list of options that you have: account number, batch number, item number, units,
Yeah,
model name,
basically in the
serial
palette
number.
tables, they would like to ask to capture the license plate number, serial number, and the batch numbers. So those things has to be configured in this document layout.
English. Yes, correct. Okay, and this will be used for your sales process as well. See, that's the reason you have the address and all, to address, to state, all these. So based on this also you can generate, and you can generate a number of like different format of labels based on different conditions. Once you generate a label over there, you need to go here. You need to define the transaction type for which warehouse or for which handle device, also like which user, handle device user, that you can select for a shipping carrier or for a particular customer. These are the different parameters that you define. Based on that, the printer as well as the layout ID can be configured. So this particular place will show the list of printers and this is the layout. Okay. And if you want to use some queries, more than like if you need something more than this, what you see here, you can use the edit query option and you can define multiple formats of labels. That answers the question.
Yes.
So I'll quickly show this alone and then we can wind up the session. So now we have two works, 20 and 22. If I go to open work, for the same arrows I have, now I will assign this to one worker 61 and this I'll assign to 66.
So this work won't be available for any other user to process.
Right, if it is assigned, it won't be available.
And will you also cover the warehouse setups for the production process as well?
No, I'm purely a SEM guy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now you see one is assigned for 61 and 62. Now let's add, see only one worker. If I log in with the other user, I'll see the other work. And here the catch is, let's say I have not assigned this particular worker to anyone. So now the system will show both the works. Since this work is not assigned to anyone, if I wanted to open it up and work on that, I can. Now you see both the work. So if something has been assigned to a worker, the other worker can't say that until it is changed. And unassigned work will be shown for both. If I pick, and that will be locked for me. If someone else pick, it will be locked for it. And if we don't want to show the unassigned work in the menu item, you can just go to the edit query and there is an option manually assigned yes or no. You can just give yes so that the works that are assigned only to me will be listed, and even something it's not assigned to anyone, it won't get listed in the mobile menu.